Hey, Light Warriors. Many people around the world are awakening and becoming conscious that this reality is not what we were led to believe. And one of the ways to awaken is becoming conscious of Mandela effects. Little glitches in reality. You might remember something that does not exist the way that you actually remember it. And when you become aware of these changes in reality, you'll never see reality the same way again. And you become awake and you start to realize that something is very strange. So, one of the first Mandela effects that I want to share with you today, there are many Mandela effects, and I'm going to share a few of them today that have affected me. And I remember the way that they existed in the old reality. So sometimes, you could take a list of 50 Mandela effects and you might remember most of them, and some of them you don't remember it the original way, and that's okay. Because we're seeing that there are multiple timelines, and these timelines are collapsing. And the first little glitch in reality that we have before us, Looney Tunes. Which one do you remember, Light Warrior? Do you remember Looney Tunes, Toons, or Looney Tunes, Tunes? I'll give you a minute to think about it. When you look at this, you might see that something is a little off here. And when I was a kid, I remember Toons, Toons, like cartoons, Looney Tunes. But now it's Tunes, Tunes. So if you remember Looney Tunes and do your own research, try to find Looney Tunes, Toons. It never existed. And becoming aware of this Mandela effect really shook me on my journey. The next Mandela effect is Jif Peanut Butter. And I've shared this one before, and some of you are new to this journey. I love to use Mandela effects to help awaken people to start to realize that something is off in our reality. When you were a child, do you remember Jif Peanut Butter? Or was it always Jif to you? When I was a boy, I remember Jif Peanut Butter, and I remember this label that you see here on the left. You cannot find a Jif Peanut Butter anywhere if you remember this. There is residue of it in magazine articles and murals of Jif Peanut Butter. But Jif Peanut Butter never existed, and I remember the label looking like it did on the left. And remember as a boy seeing the Jif Peanut Butter in my mother's Lazy Susan, and one day seeing Jif and thinking to myself as a boy, oh, they must have changed the label. And I remember this, going back, maybe I was 8 or 9 years old and becoming aware of Mandela effects when I was a boy. So Jif Peanut Butter never existed. You might remember Jif Peanut Butter. You might remember this label, but it never existed. And it gets us to start to question everything. Febreeze. I remember when Febreeze first came out. I might have been in high school when it first came out. And I remember Febreeze. Even remember this bottle that's on the left here, Febreeze. Like breeze, right? But Febreeze was never spelt that way. It was always Febreeze, right? Look at that on the right. Doesn't it seem weird to you, Light Warriors? Febreeze. It was never Febreeze. Do you remember how it looked on the left years ago? Febreeze. But it never existed. You can't find this bottle anywhere or pictures of it anywhere. Right? This was just reconstructed to show people what Febreeze used to look like. Do you remember Febreeze on the left? Or was it always Febreeze? Right? When you look at the spelling, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even look like breeze. Febreeze. Right? So this was a change that I remember. I remember the bottle. I remember seeing that. on the left. How many of you played Monopoly? Mr. Pennybags, right? And you remember the Monopoly man? How he had his monocle, right? Running with the cash, right? But the Monopoly man never had the monocle, Light Warriors. It was always how it was on the right, no monocle. And there's a lot of residue. It's called Mandela Effect residue. That there was a glitch in the reality, and what we remember, it changed somehow, and there's only residue. And if you've ever watched the movie Ace Ventura, and he goes, "Oh, are you the Monopoly man?" And he goes to the guy with the monocle. But the Monopoly man never had a monocle, Light Warriors. So as we could see again here, that there is a glitch in the reality. Do you remember the Monopoly man with a monocle? Try to find a Monopoly board. Go back, dust it off, Light Warriors. Look at it. Does he have the monocle? Do you remember the monocle? But the Monopoly man with the monocle never existed. So once again, we're awakening to a glitch in reality. This one was fascinating to me. Kit Kat. Remember Kit Kat when you were a kid, Light Warriors? I don't eat chocolate anymore. I don't eat this, Light Warriors. But Kit Kat, years ago, I remember had a little hyphen in it, right? Between the kit and the cat. But it never existed. No hyphen in the Kit Kat. This one I clearly remember as well. So, Kit Kat never had a hyphen. Don't know where the hyphen went, but we're switching timelines, Light Warriors. Do you remember the hyphen in the Kit Kat? A world-famous TV show, Sex in the City? Or is it Sex and the City? Which one is it, Light Warriors? Let it marinate a second here. Sex in the City or Sex and the City? I never really watched this show, but I always remember commercials and seeing ads for Sex in the City. But it was always Sex and the City. Sex in the City never existed. And there's unbelievable amounts of residue. There's even a perfume bottle that says Sex in the City. But Sex in the City, the show, never existed. It was always Sex and the City. You could even find a video of Mandela Effect residue, of award shows, and how Sex in the City won so many awards at these award shows, and it's compiled and how many times they say, and the winner is Sex in the City. But Sex in the City never existed. It was always Sex and the City. Do your research and try to find Sex in the City. The main idea of Mandela effects is to awaken you that something is wrong with this reality. And I'm going to conclude for this Mandela Effect video, this world-famous Mandela Effect video, Light Warriors. People's minds are expanding. Human consciousness is expanding as we speak, Light Warriors. Fruit of the Loom. How many of you remember Fruit of the Loom underwear? I'm sure you remember it, Light Warriors. Do you remember the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia like you see on the left? Or is it Fruit of the Loom? I'm getting so nervous with this one. I'm getting tongue-tied, Light Warriors. Fruit of the Loom without the cornucopia. Many of you, you're seeing this right now. I'll give you another few seconds to let it marinate. Let it marinate, Light Warriors. Do you remember the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia? Or with no cornucopia, just fruit? Yep. Once again, Light Warriors, the Fruit of the Loom never had the cornucopia. It was just fruit. And when I was a child, and many people, this one baffles many people, Fruit of the Loom never had a cornucopia. It was just fruit. And, if this one is mind-boggling you, let us know in the comments. Do you remember the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia? When you come across Mandela effects, I remember on my journey, when I came across Mandela effects and I started to see this glitch in reality, and I consumed so many videos about Mandela effects and how the reality has changed. The timelines are converging and something is changing, and it helps you to awaken to so much more about this reality. When we think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, we unlock the keys to the universe. And there are many timelines, and we're tuning in to a new reality, a frequency, just like how you would change the station on a radio. We're tuning into a new reality. And if any of these Mandela effects, if you see something that you could no longer unsee, you're becoming conscious that this reality was not what we were led to believe. So leave comments on Mandela effects that you've seen in this video, and we'll have many more Mandela effect videos, world famous Mandela effect videos, Light Warriors. Please smash the like button, obliterate the like button on this one, Light Warriors. It really helps to awaken people. When you see this, you could never unsee this. If you've seen the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia, if you remember it in your consciousness, if you remember Sex in the City, not Sex and the City, if you remember a hyphen in the Kit Kat bar, even though I don't eat Kit Kat bars, but I remember it. If you remember the Monopoly Man with a monocle, if you remember Febreeze, like actually spelt like Febreeze, if you remember Jif Peanut Butter, and if you remember Looney Tunes, like actual cartoons, Toons. If you remember any of these in your consciousness and you know that Looney Tunes doesn't exist, Jif Peanut Butter doesn't exist, Febreeze doesn't exist, the Monopoly Man with the monocle doesn't exist, Kit Kat with a hyphen doesn't exist, Sex in the City never existed, and Fruit of the Loom does not have a cornucopia. Go check your underwear right now, Light Warriors. Check it. None of these things ever existed. This is evidence that there are multiple timelines, and I hope that I have awakened you, and you will never see the reality again. If you find this message interesting and you would like to learn more about our reality in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, why don't you click subscribe, give the video a like so it becomes visible to more people, and please share with one other person, because when we all share with one other person, we will rapidly grow our 5D community. Let me know about this video, Light Warriors. Are you fascinated by the Mandela effect? I'm going to spend some time in the upcoming weeks and months on the Mandela effect to help awaken others to this reality and how everything is changing. And you might not have any words right now, but many people that resonate with the 144,000 that are sealed in the forehead, they see the change and the glitch in the reality. We are in this world, but we are not of this world. We're the 144,000. Become aware of the changes in this reality. And don't worry about the reality changes. A lot of people, they see the Mandela effect and they get very scared. Don't get scared. And some people, they might display some cognitive dissonance, and they might actually get angry at this video. Scroll the comments. You'll see them, Light Warriors. But don't be worried about this. Don't be afraid about all these glitches in the reality. You know why. We cannot control what is around us. However, we can control from within. Be conscious of the Mandela effect. And remember that everything resides inside of you. It's not outside of you. It's inside of you. So please share this message with others and help awaken others to a whole new world. And let me know if you want to see some more Mandela effect videos. Keep moving forward, and many people are going to awaken very soon, Light Warriors. Victory of the light.